Good morning, wrestling fans. Welcome to PWR Weekly. I'm the man they call Meathead, joined by Linda Kay and Matthew Thomas. Matthew Thomas, Linda Kay. Good morning, good Monday to you. How you doing?
Good Monday to you as well. I know I had to hop off quick last week, but I believe this would
Well,
be
we can
our
see you now.
yes, I believe this would be our official first show of
No,
November
no,
to
no.
be well.
Movember. That's right. Matthew Thomas, how you doing? What you drinking today?
Oh, I'm drinking a nice warm cup of coffee out of my Dexter Loomis mug. Can you see that? Yeah, isn't
I
that a
can't
face
see that.
to wake up to in the morning? My goodness. And
Um,
Best part
yeah.
of waking up.
well,
Is
and
Dexter Lewis in your cup?
the,
Thank you,
the,
Linda.
the good thing is I took this to a public place to get my coffee filled this morning. Didn't have time to make it here, so I got to take this out in public, and all the people that were waiting in the coffee line, they were just in all over my wonderful Dexter Loomis mug, huh?
Wow. Hey, well, while you take a big sip of Dexter Loomis, well, your coffee from Dexter Loomis, go ahead and tell us, Matthew, about Collar and Elbow and our great sponsors.
I don't know. In that picture, Dexter Loomis might actually be wearing a collar and elbow brand shirt available exclusively at collarandelbowbrand.com. If you want to save money so you can buy yourself more collar and elbow brand gear, maybe you're celebrating daylight savings time and want to stock up on your
The
wardrobe.
death of daylight savings time.
The potential death of daylight savings time, it hasn't been official yet. You've got to call upon your representatives in Congress to actually make it happen. But when you're knocking on the door of your congressional representative, go to collarandelbowbrand.com, enter promo code Linda K, LINDAKAY, and save yourself 10%.
And Linda, you want to put them on the glass and tell us about?
Well, it is open enrollment season, everyone, and that is very important if you want to make sure you are covered in the next calendar year. Make sure to visit our friend Chris at prowrestlinginsurance.com to find out about affordable supplemental coverage. And it is not just for pro wrestlers. Of course, we cater to pro wrestlers, of course, but coverage as low as $9 a month to make sure you are covered no matter where you are, what time of the day, any time of the year. Make sure to go to prowrestlinginsurance.com, visit Chris, chat about open enrollment right now. You have through the end of the year to get yourself covered for the next calendar year. So again, that is very important. Make sure to check out prowrestlinginsurance.com.
Absolutely tremendous. Well, let's get into some AEW and some WWE news and some GLCW news. First off, we're going to talk about Dynamite from last week, Wednesday, and the debut of Senior Slapnuts, otherwise known as JEW. I'm still recovering from the cough. JARRET, Jeff Jarrett, and his new title, Director of Business Development. Matthew, Linda, Jeff Jarrett, good old Slapnuts himself, the chosen one, is in AEW. Linda Kay, out of nowhere, Jeff Jarrett shows up in AEW.
Yes, and we did indeed hear slap nuts. So I think on other programming that might have gotten bleeped out, but no, not from JEFF himself. And quite the splash, bringing the guitar in place. Great to see. Was not expecting to see that on Dynamite this week, but definitely just a huge surprise and huge announcement coming out of AEW.
Matthew, I have a question for you, and it seems like I'm leading you in, like I'm a journalist looking to fill his own agenda here. But Matthew, is there a stink that comes with Jeff Jarrett due to his days in WCW in the not successful era of the NWO and his days in TNA as that go away heat Jeff Jarrett, the King of the Mountain?
I don't think it is necessarily directly linked to Jeff Jarrett. I think it is the perception that I saw a meme yesterday that said TNA 2007 is all elite, and it looked at some of the recent signings of AEW, and I don't think there's not a bad bunch on that list, but we talk about it each week, the amount of talent that is on that AEW roster that's not being showcased, the amount of talent that is kind of caught up in this AEW Ring of Honor kind of storm there. And I think it struck a lot of people as unexpected. Not that that's a bad thing, but I think that where a lot of the controversy is at is you're looking at the rest of the roster and you're looking at 2 hours of Dynamite, 1 hour of Rampage on your proper TV lineup of AEW. And really, and I get that he is going to be very prominent backstage, but, he debuted in a very in-your-face, non-backstage, front stage way the other night. So
in a Dan Lambert kind of way.
Yeah. So it's a lot of really kind of trying to figure out, where that all lands.
Linda, the match was Darby Allin versus Jay Lethal with Satnam Singh and Sanjay Dutt, taking him out to the ring. And out of nowhere, Sting's music hit at the end of the match, but it wasn't the Stinger. It was an imposter dressed as Sting, Cole Carter from the Factory. AEW does this. Like, they'll do double surprises. Remember Adam Cole's debut and then Bryan Danielson's debut? Yeah. Well, they'll give us a surprise and like, who? And all of a sudden, doom, doom, doom. Slap nuts himself, Jeff Jarrett, comes out, hits Darby Allin with the powder-loaded guitar and pops him. And really, Jarrett says, my family got into the wrestling business in 1946. That means for 75 years, I'm doing the math here. It's close enough. 3 generations, wherever the Jarretts went, they left an impact.
Uh-huh.
I can assure you from day one, my fingerprints, my father's, my grandmother's fingerprints have been all over AEW. And I can assure you before I'm done with this place, there's going to be a full body bags. You can choke on that, slap nuts. And his TNA music plays him out. Linda, your thoughts on hearing that music again, that Jeff Jarrett TNA Impact music?
Well, we've gotten a lot of Jeff Jarrett as of late. I mean, just think about SummerSlam and then Ric Flair's
the next night,
match.
yeah.
Yes. And now we have some Jeff Jarrett on AEW. That is tremendous, though. I mean, obviously,
he's been on Tales from the Territories a couple weeks.
I mean, and he's looking great as well. So great to see Jeff Jarrett there doing his thing. And it was a surprise to see him come out that way. I mean, I guess this is similar to when Madison Rayne debuted on AEW, where it was announced her role backstage in office, but we still have her on with programming and now somewhat regularly, with her wrestling, I believe on Rampage last couple weeks, or at least appearing. So that being said, excited to see where this will go. And just a side note with Carter, he was I had to think about that. He was Dimes, correct, Matthew, from our NXT recap days after leaving the
Carter's. They kept doing the money references to him backstage at AEW.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because last time he was left swimming with the fishes. I believe that was what was said on AEW.
Yeah. So, Jeff Jarrett in AEW, and there's more to come from that.
And let's not forget Jeff Jarrett ending last year, giving Cal Hero a nice pep talk after he was unceremoniously screwed over by Earl Hebner.
Earl Hebner and lack of chicken wings. And that's funny, too. We talk about Jeff Jarrett. I was going to move on, but I got one more piece. If you think about it, Jeff Jarrett's the last Vince McMahon hire. Jeff Jarrett working SummerSlam, then working the Ric Flair thing, which probably sealed his fate at WWE. Because remember, SummerSlam was the Triple H era, basically, the Helmsley era beginning. So they moved on from Jeff. Jeff probably said, hey, if you got nothing backstage for me, I'm going to move on and go find something else to do. And here he is in AEW. Moxley had a eliminator match against Lee Moriarty. Again, there's a beatdown from the Firm. Ethan Page standing over Moxley, getting blindsided with a boot. Will we get a Moxley-Ethan Page match, Matthew?
I think it's worth seeing. I mean, Moxley's fighting a couple times every week, so you might as well have him fight Ethan Page. Hopefully that would put a little bit more of a spotlight on Ethan Page, which I think he's one of those people, unfortunately, when I look at the people that are potentially getting lost in the shuffle in AEW now with the size of the roster, the 2 names that come to mind are Ethan Page and Ricky Stark.
Well, and we saw Ricky Stark on Rampage last Friday night in a promo. Daddy Ass's birthday bash, Linda Kay. The Acclaimed, Max Caster and Anthony Bowens with Billy. Now, Billy's got his hands all taped up because, that sneaky swerve, I don't know if he took pliers to him or whatever, but tried to prevent Daddy Ass from scissoring. And probably the greatest marketing move I've ever seen AEW do. So he could scissor. They got foam scissor hands. Linda, I'm telling you, that's going to be a #1 seller.
I mean, the T-shirt was already a #1 seller. Now you got the foam hands. Tremendous. I mean, I got quite a laugh just looking at it. Was like lobster claws, lobster hands trying to scissor. And thankfully, for his birthday, on his birthday, Daddy Ass was fortunate enough to be able to scissor with those new hot selling merch items with those scissors. So that was a lot of fun to see. And yeah, we're gonna get some more scissoring.
A little reference to DX actually in the promo as well. It says, well, we called a couple friends, but they were busy and they were mad you didn't show up to their party or something like
the
that.
Reunion. Yeah.
Yeah, the reunion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Matthew Thomas, ROH World Championship match, more Ring of Honor on Dynamite and on Rampage. The Ocho, Chris Jericho, took on a former Ring of Honor champion. Did you have any guesses of who it could have been, Matthew Thomas?
No, I really tried to, scan the deep recesses of my brain to pick up a name, but all of the names that, kept coming up were current AEW roster members. And the match has already happened. So, no, this was an absolute surprise to me.
Well, he's still a current Ring of Honor and AEW roster member. With their history being publicly blasted out, since Crazy Mariachi Punk is technically no longer performing for the company, is that what greased the wheels and allowed Boom Boom Colt Cabana to show up in AEW for a Ring of Honor title shot?
I think so, and I think that probably led to the reception that he got. The crowd was very happy to see him, and it was a really, really good moment.
Linda, the All-Atlantic World Championship was defended. It was Orange Cassidy coming out with his knapsack or his bag or whatever you want to call it to take on Ray Fenix and Luchasaurus in a three-way match. The winner of the match and still All-Atlantic champion Orange Cassidy.
I think more of the story here is Ray Fenix not using the ring bell per the back.
Remember, there's no DQ in a triple threat.
Right. And so there's something to brew in there between Death Triangle. And obviously we've been seeing it as Pac has been being more heelish by cheating a bit. But hey, you know what?
Wait, you're saying he's part of the women's division in AEW, the heels?
No, not AEW heels with the two E's, the double E's. We're talking about well, actually, that's still two E's, but no. I think that was more of the story there. Yeah, Pac just still just being that dastardly heel, but we'll see what happens. But happy to see it, and the crowd as well. Orange Cassidy retaining that title.
The surprise at the end was the winner gets a dream match, and it's going to be against Shibata. You'll hear more about his story on Rampage, but Shibata, Orange Cassidy for the All-Atlantic Championship. In the TBS Championship match, Jade Cargill took on the Problem, Marina Shafir. Here was what we had. It was Nyla Rose and Vicky Guerrero, trying to run distractions on the stage. Apparently, Jade had this plan the whole time that Layla Gray from OVW, one of the baddies, was going to come up and steal the belt while the match was going on. That didn't happen. Jade not happy, stepping over her. Jade still undefeated, Linda.
Yeah, I think Layla was with her at ringside. I think it was Kira Hogan that was.
Yeah, you're right. Layla was down in ringside. Kira Hogan was the ones. I forget which one's got the blue hair, which one's got the whatever. I lose track.
Yeah, no. This is just still something where it just seems crazy how this belt just cannot get back into the hands of the champion. For as Dominic, oh my God, not Dominic, wrong show.
As Dominic Mysterio as it seems, right?
Yes. As dominant of a champion and wrestler Jade Cargill has been, I get what they're building here, but I'm just like, this has to happen sometimes. You're like, how can she keep running away from this, from the strong, dominant champion? But obviously, soon enough, the TBS title will be back into the hands of Jade Cargill, but will she still be champion? But that should be sometime soon.
Matthew,
here's what I really want to see. That I want to see Jade lose the title to somebody, and then they have to get it from Nyla Rose. And then that person lose the title too. I want to see the title change hands like 3 or 4 people, and none of which actually have the title, and they have to try to claim it from Nyla Rose.
If I hear that they're the interim champion one more time, I'm going to lose my business.
This is like 24/7 title-esque in a way.
Yeah,
Chasing after the title in a way. Like literally
I
chasing
guess.
after the title.
The main event, Matthew, was the Ring of Honor World Television Championship match. 2 Ring of Honor title matches on Dynamite. Samoa Joe took on the Machine, Brian Cage, with the Embassy's Prince Nana. I'm a big fan of Prince Nana. I'm entertained by him. Really, the story here again is Ward Joe, the team of Joe and Wardlow, standing at the end. But here comes Powerhouse Hobbs to attack Wardlow again, looking for that TNT Championship. Matthew, where are we going to get the Wardlow Powerhouse Hobbs match?
I don't know, but I feel like Wardlow and Joe and that tag team in this story is really the main thing AEW/ROH is pushing right now. I feel like it's main eventing multiple shows. And I think AEW is at a point where they are somewhat struggling for an identity. Your AEW elevator speech, if you're in an elevator with Tony Khan or somebody who works for AEW and they've got 30 seconds or a minute to tell you what that company is doing right now, what differentiates it from the competition, WWE. I think it was pretty straightforward about a year ago, 2 years ago. I don't think you have that anymore. I think AEW right now is trying to be everything to everybody. And the main thing that I'm talking about right now is this deal with ROH. I saw a comment the other day that, as storied as ROH was in its run, ROH eventually just didn't make it. And it didn't make it in a time when AEW was starting up. And now you are basically taking this hotshot company in AEW. And I don't want to use the word watering it down, but you are main eventing it with a company that was struggling as AEW was upstarting. And I just don't know if that's what the viewers want. I think there is a lane for ROH, but I think it's potentially separate from AEW. And we've seen it week in and week out now, with the inflated roster and with this mixed messaging with ROH. I think they're in a spot where they're just really kind of confusing the audience.
It kind of I'm going to join you on that. It's kind of like Ring of Honor is the mashed potatoes and AEW is the macaroni and cheese. I don't want my foods touching. I
Right.
want them separate. I want my stuffing away from my green beans. You know what
But
I mean?
what you're running now is, you're running 2 complete independent side dishes, but the package that AEW is presenting now is almost them just intermixed together to a point where there's no stuffing, there's no green beans, there's stuffing casserole with green beans and whatnot.
Welcome back to Dinner Side Talk with Matthew, Linda, and the man they call Meathead, as all 3 of us enter you at the same time.
I saw a seasonal option the other day that was a hot dog topped with stuffing, cranberry sauce, and gravy. And here's the kicker. They're taking it to a different level. Little potato sticks on top.
Along those lines, Matthew, I was going to say the talk of this reminds me of a special, a season, edition duo of you get your mashed potatoes and your sweet potatoes. And then you can also do your turkey and your Cornish hen. It is that time of the year, but I see exactly where you guys were coming from. And again, I know we've discussed this before, but maybe with the acquisition of ROH, maybe there's a different TV deal in the works where it is going to be just ROH. I mean, I get there's Elevation, Dark Elevation, but something, we already have a lot of ROH, not just talents, but just the history, the prestige introduced to a lot of the television viewers that may not know so much about ROH. So hey, we get that interest going. We see who the champions are. We learn a little bit more about it. Maybe there is something where it'll be a separate TV deal in the works. Right now, it's just more of an introduction. Not really sure, but I definitely see where you guys are coming
from. Let's take the word introduction and let's move ourselves over to Rampage. Rampage was live from Atlantic City, New Jersey. And let's introduce the baddest man on the planet doing commentary, Mike Tyson. Let's talk about Iron Mike for a second. Iron Mike has come a long way. Not to age myself, but I remember as a kid watching Mike Tyson in the mid-'80s become this just dominant boxer. And he had a very weak promo game. Mike Tyson has made himself something 10 times greater, 100 times greater. He can talk on the microphone now. Mike does amazing. And Mike on the mic was on commentary for Orange Cassidy and Shibata for the All Atlantic Championship. Linda Kay.
Speaking of a unique mashup, no, it was interesting. I know they were bringing out Mike Tyson for the opening contest, which had Shibata. I can't even pronounce Shibata's first name, and let alone I was thinking, oh great, we have Mike Tyson on to do commentary this match. But I mean, to second what you said, it was amazing. He did a really great job, and I don't know just how much of a fan he is of AEW, actually following the programming, the talents, or if that was something that was fed in prior
or
to
he
him
was
going
coached
live.
to it or whatever, but it doesn't matter. He sounded great.
He did. Might be something, he is a businessman that's promoting something in particular right now. I've seen him and Ric Flair doing their thing out there on social media, so maybe that's what's helping him.
Maybe it's easing the pain a little bit. Matthew Thomas, freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy, and Shibata, the winner of the match, freshly squeezed. Boy, that's a tongue twister. Orange Cassidy defending and keeping his championship and putting it back in the knapsack.
Yeah, I think Tyson on commentary was very endearing. I think the style of commentary, he certainly got a pass because it's Mike Tyson. If this was a brand new guy that showed up, it's like, I want this guy to win. No, I like him. Look at this. Look at this. It was fun listening to Tyson because it was Tyson. And, yeah, it was. Now, what I really wanted to see, if we could get this Tyson in the booth with, I can't think of the guy's name, but I think it was King of the Ring 96, if I'm not mistaken. It may have been somebody from your neck of the woods that they had as the guest commentator on there, the dude that was just for every match like 4 or 5 times. How much does that guy weigh? How much does that guy weigh? Go back on your Peacock. I can't think of the guy's name. I'll have to do a little
bit. Well, I mean, you got to understand that we do have Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus from Wisconsin. So, of course, there was the weight guesser was on commentary.
But if I could get Tyson in the booth with him, Tyson every minute changing who he wanted to win, and how much does he weigh? How much does that backpack weigh? That'd be my dream commentary table.
Let's talk about Ricky Starks in the ring. We haven't seen him in a while, and maybe I was listening too hard to Ricky Starks on commentary. I think he needs more time to talk to Mike. He's pretty good, but I think he stumbled a little bit, and he got kind of lost for a couple times during his promo, what he was trying to get across. Matthew, your thoughts on Ricky on the microphone?
I just don't think he has that consistency to get polished as he needs to get. When you go a month or 6 weeks without hearing from him, you have the perception, oh my goodness, I've got TV time. And that's not how your traditional companies have been built. You go back to WCW, you go back to WWF, WWE, you're getting that initial that incremental exposure each week. And now, what's happening a lot of times with AEW, oh my goodness, I hadn't been on TV in a month. I have got to, do this master class, this Dusty Hard Times promo every time I talk.
All time, steady.
Right. And I mean, kind of like we saw with Ricky, I think a lot of your promos in AEW now are going to start off with how much TV time they're not getting, And so, yeah, I think he's got it.
Well, all right, Matthew, let me ask you this. Which one do you want to hear less? How much TV time they don't get, or welcome to Monday Night Raw?
Welcome to Monday Night Raw. Absolutely.
All right, let's talk main event, because it's time to talk about the main event for Rampage. Wardlow, Samoa Joe, and Wardlow taking on the Gates of Agony. Boy, the Gates of Agony look good. But again, we're kind of shoehorning in Ring of Honor into AEW television. The winner of the match, of course, is Wardlow, and a little heat at the end, Linda, between Samoa Joe and Wardlow, because during the It's Time promo and at the end of the match, Wardlow pushing Joe to the side, and Joe doesn't take it too kindly.
Yeah, when Powerhouse Hobbs came in at the very end.
Power.
We did see that. It was addressed by commentary as well. So, again, just something within ROH that's just another potential storyline. So does that mean either more ROH programming on AEW television, or is it a lead into, again, possibility of a separate ROH program itself?
How long has it been since Tony announced it at Daly's Place that, hey, I've got this major announcement? We all thought it was going to be that, HBO was going to stream pay-per-views because we're trying to manifest it. And it ended up being, I bought ROH. Great. What are you going to do with
Couple
it?
months.
A couple months. My God, it's been, I believe, honestly, it's been the entire year. That's how long it feels. Like
Well,
it happened.
if you had a distribution deal in place when you announced that, not even a distribution deal for AEW, but a home for ROH content, I think you could have made people a lot more excited. Maybe they're unfamiliar with ROH. It's like, all right, I've got an ROH library now. I can kind of, wet my beak into this content and a place to watch dedicated ROH. It's kind of out there to the side. It's like, all right, if I want to spend some time, investing in the history of ROH and, what we've got with the company. But no, it's been right there in your main AEW content. Let me ask you this. Are we in the early stages, are we eventually going to get a WWE style draft between AEW and ROH? Is that where this thing is eventually headed?
If they do, honestly, they can hype it all they want, but I will not buy it. Because they say, oh my God, Joe and Wardlow have been separated.
I don't think it'll happen. I think it's a big thing from AEW, TonyCon, whatnot, just to not really follow the WWE formula. But never know.
Hey, let's talk WWE. Friday night on SmackDown before we get into Crown Jewel. We've seen a couple guys get run over by Braun Strowman, but Linda, who were they?
Some familiar faces from OVW.
Former tag team champion.
Yeah, well, two of the guys. He's one half of the fanny pack party, that being Dustin Jackson.
Yep.
And OVW's current Rush Division champion, certified Luke Curtis, also part of that segment. And gentlemen, I did see both of them this past weekend at our GLCW show here in Wisconsin, and just great to see the guys out there.
Linda,
on that
confirm
huge
this
platform.
for me. Confirm this for me. Wasn't Luke Curtis Stone Cold Steve Austin from Young Rock? Is that him?
No, I feel I would have known that.
Okay, because I feel like I'm supposed to know who Stone Cold was on there, and I feel like we know him. We're gonna have to do some research on that.
I need to, speaking of catalogs, or I need to go back and catch up on Young Rock. I did that first season. I caught every episode every week, and then I fell behind. But I do have the Peacock to catch up.
Okay. But yeah, Dustin Jackson and Luke Curtis showing up on SmackDown. Unfortunately, they get bowled over in a 5-man and they were lined up so perfectly. They were in like a triangle move, and Braun just went right through them. I thought it was absolutely fantastic.
Almost like bowling pins, if you think about the setup.
Absolutely. I do want to talk about the Bray Wyatt segment, which was a little bit different because he got to interact with somebody. And we got to see the dark side of Bray Wyatt, Linda, and it was he really put the fear into that gentleman who I don't think he acted back with fear, but you could see that he was going to tear through him. Just leave, just go, get away from me.
Right. And Uncle, is that his actual name, or is that just a
Uncle Howdy? Maybe somebody that's running the whole thing. Who knows?
Let me bring this up. Weren't there rumored innuendo that Bo Dallas was going to be returning to WWE?
Or his dad, Mike Rotunda.
IRS.
That's right.
All righty.
Everybody pays the tax man.
It just came up to me when I was watching SmackDown this week. I'm like, it could be his brother, and the whole Uncle Howdy thing maybe was a game from their childhood, or maybe there was this Uncle Howdy that haunted both of them, and somehow Uncle Howdy's personality is transformed into his sibling. That kind of just came to mind. But it was great to see some movement within the return of Bray Wyatt. I mean, we know of this current one, him being real, him being himself, not being behind the mask. And
also
now
mentioning his wrestling family as well. He did mention it. And speaking of family, Matthew, if you watch that little video, like the clips as it was flashing back and forth, there was a picture of a girl with the red circles, almost like jigsaw on her face. That is apparently Wyndham's sister.
Interesting. Whether she's used just in that, or whether she's going to be actually featured prominently I mean, they know people are talking, people are speculating. So I think we're going to see more than a few red herrings in this to throw us off the trail a little bit. The good thing is, what I enjoy about this is I don't know where it's going, and that's what I am most intrigued. You know, this is something that has not been able to be spoiled as far as exactly what this is, you know, and I'm just looking forward to watching it, you know, progress each week.
All right, let's talk real quick, Linda, about Saturday night GLCW, and then we're going to get into the crown jewel from Saturday night.
Yeah, this past Saturday, we had our special guest, Chelsea Green, taking on OVW and GLCW talent, Tiffany Nieves. And that was a tremendous match. The crowd really into it. We got to see, as we mentioned, Dustin Jackson, Luke Curtis, and then, of course, the fanny pack kid, Kelly Hero. Now, this was the main event, you guys. It was a loser leaves GLCW tag team match. That being the fanny pack party, the reunited Cal Hero and Dustin Jackson against, I believe they're the longest reigning,
The
GLCW
Express,
champions,
correct?
the Express, yeah. Ryan Cross, Dr. Jeff Luxon. So in the end, the fanny pack party were victorious. So it was a nice moment at the end there where we had Ryan Cross and Dr. Jeff Luxon coming in saying some kind words, which you don't normally see from the Express. So huge moment there within GLCW history. And looking forward, you know, we had the other things being set up for Blizzard Brawl coming up. We had Mordecai. We had the mention of Mordecai, Kevin Thorne, in the house coming out and challenging Iron Mike, another Iron Mike, but the Iron Mike of Cedarburg, Wisconsin, that being Iron Mike Kirchhoff from CBS 58 News, calling him out, challenging Mike.
Wow.
The match has been set for Blizzard Brawl. We did see Mike Kirchhoff getting a choke slam there right in front of his wife and kids, but that's been another match added. Yes, they were right there near ringside. So that being said, guys, just a quick mention here. Blizzard Brawl will be here before we know it. That's going to be Saturday night, December 3rd, Waukesha County Expo Center, which I know we were all just there recently together. More matches have been announced, but again, already announced to appear. We got Dustin Rhodes, Daddy Ass will be in the house. We'll see if he, you know, has his fingers still taped up. Not really sure.
I was going to say, and Linda, a throwback to the Pro Wrestling Report days. Are you ready?
Yes.
Vampiro!
Yes.
Oh, good God, Vampiro.
We'll also be there. You know, and Chelsea Green, who was just here, she'll be there. Maria Canella, speaking of ROH. And also, I mean, again, lots mentioned. Moose will be there, but a huge response every time I would mention it. The Nasty Boys with the mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart.
Hey, ask Jimmy Hart for a business card.
Okay, I can do that for you. But anywho, just like, you know, a great way to roll right along into Blizzard Brawl season, if you will.
We are in the season. We're also in the Crown Jewel aftermath season right now. Let's talk about Crown Jewel. First off, the show opens up with a women's tag team championship match. Linda Kay, you have Alexa Bliss and Asuka. Here's the tough part for you, and we will get to PWR fantasy points next week. You have them separately. You lost the title twice.
Oh, that's the rules? Has that been confirmed by the
that is verified.
Cheatham? Wait.
You were Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe. You have them in two separate slots. Both of them individuals lost the title on pay-per-view.
Wow. Okay. Maybe when I made my move there, acquiring Braun Strowman, maybe I should have picked up Damage Control. I should have. That was a unique situation there, isn't it? Not only did Alexa and Asuka win the titles, but on Raw together, I have them separate.
Which you would have won. You would have had two title wins if it would have been done on pay-per-view.
How dare that happen to me? Team Long Time. Don't worry, guys. I can't wait to see the final results from Crown Jewel to see if Team Long Time is still in first place.
The winners of the match and new women's tag team champions, Dakota Kai and Io Sky. Matthew, did you think the belts would stay on Alexa and Asuka for that long?
It changed 5 days ago. I did not see a title here. Yeah, this didn't make a ton of sense to me at all.
Drew McIntyre carrying Cross in the steel cage. Drew McIntyre with the win. I feel like Karrion Kross should have had this win, Matthew. Your thoughts?
We got Cross with the win last time, and this is a Saudi show, so I think your booking's going to be a little bit different here. And McIntyre, it was interesting kind of watching the reaction in the fan favorites. And McIntyre was a fan favorite here. So this didn't surprise me. Something I want to lay out here, though. I don't know if you guys noticed it. Did you feel that the ring was mic'd at a lot higher volume than it traditionally is? The dialogue that you could hear between wrestlers, like I've never heard it like this on any other show. I mean, it was very, very frequent bits of dialogue that were audible in each match.
Like, hey, we're gonna go to the Golden Corral afterwards, the Saudi Arabia Golden Corral.
I wish, but we'll get to the match in a little bit. But I noticed it more in Brock and Bobby than I've ever heard. I mean, Brock when he was in the submission hole, I mean, he's literally saying, "No, I don't want to give up. I don't want to give up."
I don't know. And we did forget to mention that Brock Lesnar, a very quick pickup by the man they call Meathead before the start of the show, defeats your boy, Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, very interesting match here. Lesnar with the win, but Lashley, for all intents and purposes, going over. I don't think anybody has made Brock ever look that vulnerable. And my goodness, I mean, the way this match ended with that pinning combination, I don't think that was any... that's not how you expect to see this match end. Right. Basically, Lesnar just squeaking by like that.
Linda, your thoughts on Brock sneaking out a win, but getting the tar kicked out of him?
Yeah, it's really interesting. But wasn't it also at Crown Jewel where it was Brock and Goldberg, where Goldberg was very dominant on Brock?
Bobby. I was going to say it's Bobby and Goldberg.
That was the last one too. That was a great match too. Well, you know what? What I was a bit surprised though, it was in the end where after, I mean, granted he did lose the match, but we don't see a baby face. Well, in this match at least, go after the attack after the loss. So that was interesting because then I wasn't sure. Speaking of hearing the audio and the audibles, I guess.
Audible.com.
Was the crowd cheering or booing Bobby at that moment? Like, I wasn't really sure. Is that supposed to be like a turn or just showing him like, I should have won this match. I dominated the match.
Bobby,
I think
he was a heel in Saudi Arabia for some reason.
I was just going to say that. Yep.
Yeah, for some reason, and he has not been. He has been one of the hottest baby faces in the company. But so one of two things. I don't know if he was, for whatever reason, if Lesnar was super over there, or this also reminded me a little bit, especially with Bobby attacking Brock from behind, traditional house show booking, to where, you've got two people, you're not really sure who the heel or who the face is. You do something early on to showcase who you're supposed to cheer in this match.
Yeah, I would agree. All right, Linda, the Usos defeated my team, the Brawling Brutes. By the way, Linda, you dropped Sheamus, correct?
I did.
And I have to apologize to you because Sheamus will no longer be able to be picked up due to the 3-man rule. Oh, what happened remember with Rhea Ripley when she was dropped? Oh, she got acquired by the Judgment Day. So technically, by default, I now have Sheamus on the team. I get one appearance for the Brawling Brutes, but they lose to the Usos. Linda Kay, your thoughts on the tag match?
Okay, I guess I'm learning about all these new developments. I mean, that is unique with these trios that have been introduced heavily within WWE programming as of late. Okay, good to know. Again, I think I said this to you guys too. I was like, I may want to still have a feeling that I want to have to get Sheamus back soon. I know he's injured, but we're getting past the halfway point in the draft. Got to make some moves. I know you do lose some points to gain someone else, but I did pick up Braun Strowman, which proved to be a good decision later on, as he did get that victory over Omos. But okay, interesting with that. And I was thinking about the whole Rhea Ripley thing too, about how when she was gone, I dropped her to try to get points. I think it might have been for an AEW pay-per-view or whatnot. And now you automatically
part of the Judgment Day, right?
Does that mean you have Dominic as well?
No, I can only declare 3, so I do not have Dominic.
All right, fair enough.
All right, and tell us about Braun Strowman and Omos. Did you fear that Strowman wouldn't win, that Omos would win?
No, I mean, and just to the point Matthew said before, it was a match for the Saudi crowd, and you want the one that's going to be more cheered, more popular for the most part to get that victory. And I felt confident in Strowman getting that, and just Strowman being utilized very prominently moving forward.
Absolutely. Bianca Belair defeats Bayley to retain the Raw Women's Championship, Linda.
Yeah, my girl Bianca, since day one of the draft, has been champion. Yes, she hasn't lost it, huh? Or did she for a little bit?
You know what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to go through and watch the show again where we drafted to see who's still on the team by the end of the season.
I have a few of that. I mean, I think I have a good amount that are still on. I just think off the top of my head right now, and we're on Crown Jewel. But that being said, yeah, a last moment standing match, unique utilization of not just
The
weapons
golf cart?
but golf carts and
Yeah.
that slide where Bayley, I believe she was supposed to fall on that table, didn't happen, and I mean these women, even with the ladders, very brutal match. But hey, it was a last women standing match and something very unique that we just, I mean, not just for it being a premium live event in Saudi Arabia, but just as a whole, we don't get too many last women standing matches.
Perfect. Matthew, thoughts on Bianca and Bayley before we go into the main event?
Who's taking the title off of Bianca? I thought there might be a legitimate chance that it switches to Bayley at some point during this feud, and who knows, maybe they wait till they get stateside, but you got to think they're probably going to be involved in maybe something with War Games. So I don't know who that person is that eventually dethrones Bianca if it's not Bayley.
All right, Matthew, the main event.
Sorry.
Linda, go for it.
Charlotte Flair returning eventually?
Ooh. Yeah.
That
makes sense.
All right, Matthew, the main event. Roman Reigns, Logan Paul. Did we or did we not? Because I don't think I saw him. Did we not see... Excuse me. Did we not see Sami Zayn on the show at all?
No, not at all.
Ugh.
And here's the thing. I haven't heard it discussed recently, but if memory serves me correctly, I think Sammy was one of the ones who may have been vocal about the Saudi deal, along with Daniel Bryan and a few others. So it doesn't surprise me that we didn't see him, if I'm not just completely fabricating that.
We did see the other Paul, Jake Paul. We did see Solo Sikoa. So it was a Paul bloodline, two people, against the entire bloodline minus Sammy, the honorary Uso. Wasn't feeling too oozy about driving. The winner, go ahead. The winner of the match, still champion, Roman Reigns. Matthew, go.
Yeah. So two thoughts in my head at the same time. This was an outstanding performance by Paul. This was, I probably reserved this for McAfee a few years ago, but by far and away the best performing non full-time wrestler, somebody just getting into it I've ever seen. I want to say that, but I want to say also that as I'm watching this match go 25 minutes or so, I don't think it necessarily should have been with the WWE champion. Could have been for a title. I think this would have been a really good spot for a Seth Rollins or somebody with an IC or United States champion. Really liked the match, but also a little bit concerned about how it looks having somebody 3 matches in take your champion who's been reigning for almost 800 days to the limit like this.
Take it to the limit. Linda Kay, your thoughts?
Was that Hinder?
No, that was an old 80s song.
It wasn't what?
It wasn't the Eagles Take It to the Limit.
Oh.
No, that's not. No, that wasn't Hinder, Linda. That was a song from back in the 80s.
Okay. I think
like one of those old Segway songs. Take it to the limit.
It must have been a remake by Hinder. Then I'll send you the link after this. Okay. But yeah, another impressive show put on by Logan Paul. I always said Jake Paul again. Well, he went to my defense. Jake Paul was there too, but he continues to impress every time he's put on the big stage. I did not see him taking the titles from the head of the table, but that's a great point, Matthew, what you just said about how far he took it. It wasn't just him going in order to get that one lucky shot, one lucky punch. He was actually putting on a very physical match. I mean, and even though I haven't even gone back to look to see the footage of the frog splash from the turnbuckle onto the table. Remember that? He was getting that on.
Yeah.
Did it look good?
Yeah.
Awesome. But while Logan Paul may not be as favorable to a lot of the fans in the States, he got quite a pop, I feel, with that Saudi crowd, him being worldwide. famous, of course, but just as
Well,
his influence
Commentary
worldwide.
did a great job trying to build him up. Michael Cole specifically spent about a minute or so saying he went toe to toe with Floyd Money Mayweather. Afterwards, Mayweather says, "I didn't know that this man could be as good as he was." I mean, he specifically built him up. Now, if they were going to say that one lucky shot, they kind of worked against themselves. That one lucky shot means he's small, but then he had to have Cole build it back up again. So it was kind of they were kind of conflicting there. The winner of the match, still champion, the head of the table, Roman Reigns. We've got a lot of big stuff coming up tonight on Raw as well. We've got AEW on Wednesday, TNT, NXT on Tuesday night. We've got Rampage, we got SmackDown. Linda, anything coming up from GLCW before the big one, Blizzard Brawl?
Not locally GLCW wise, that we got Blizzard Brawl and just the lead up
What
to that.
about OV Dub?
Well, OV Dub, yes, we are close to Thanksgiving Thunder. We are going to be doing that show live on Tuesday night, November 22nd, given Thanksgiving being on Thursday. So for anybody who can make it in the Louisville area, Tuesday night, November 22nd, Thanksgiving Thunder will take place, which will air on Fight TV Thanksgiving night. So while you are nursing your Thanksgiving dinner, if you don't feel like watching some football, or no, they already show.
Got your Al Bundy hand right at the edge of your pants there.
Right. Make sure to go to Fight TV and check out the annual Thanksgiving Thunder. But other than that, just the lead up for that, we got a couple of weeks leading to that special down there in the Ville.
Hey, maybe we talk to Jesse Goddard and ask why he peed his pants.
That did happen last week on OVW television. So if you missed it, you can always catch any episode we've ever had on the weekly show and the previous pay-per-views. You can check it out at Fight TV as well. There's that catalog there. Speaking of catalogs, Fight TV, the home of OVW programming, where you can just go back and watch whenever you want, whatever you want.
Wow. Yeah, great stuff. Linda, Matthew, that has been PWR Weekly. We've got so much going on. Again, if you haven't yet, get on over to blizzardbrawl.com. Take a look at tickets. I know Matthew's always taking a look at airfare. You may have to take a Sherpa with him to get from Denver to Appleton to try to get out here to pick me up, and then we'll ride the donkey down to Milwaukee.
Freight trains, stowing
Planes,
away.
trains, and automobiles on our way to Blizzard Brawl. Done. Book it.
Whatever it takes.
Well, the last time Matthew Thomas was in Milwaukee, I ended up with a cold because we were walking past people huffing on balloons. So I don't know if I want you coming down this time.
Oh, my goodness.
All right. For Linda Kay, for Matthew Thomas, I'm the face that they call the man they call Meathead. Again, this is a face that's made for radio. Thanks for stopping by. We'll talk to you guys next week. So long, everyone.